Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
And I'm Scott Nichols.
Well, how's it going today, brother?
Hey, it's going great.
Yeah?
Yeah, we are through October into November here, and things are going well. Get the time change. I mean, I love that extra hour of sleep.
Oh, God bless it. You know, so it sounds like you're saying you're pretty chipper, pretty happy.
I mean, generally.
Okay, fair enough. I try to be that way, but I'm wondering, you ever found at times where you've been a little blue?
Oh, sure.
Not like a Smurf blue, but, kind of blah.
Sure. I mean, growing up in New Hampshire, skies were gray a lot of the time. I guess I had what can be called seasonal depression.
Oh, when I lived in Pennsylvania, there at State College Happy Valley, they would get that. The clouds would move in, and they would be there for weeks at a time.
It's just so terrible.
And
I love the sun.
Oh, me too. And growing up in Kansas, we would have on average 300 sunny days a year. So it never crossed my mind. And that's one of the things that I love about living here in Texas is that we got lots of sunshine.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because, as we head into this time of year, at least in this hemisphere, where the days are shorter, and a lot less sunshine, more clouds, more snow, more blah weather.
Mm-hmm.
Really good if you like soup and chili. Not so good. Well, yeah, me too. But not so good if you're feeling a little, how shall we say, depressed.
Mm.
And I thought that maybe we could explore a little bit today as to some of the, kind of a little bit about what depression is, what kind of causes depression, and maybe some things that we can do about it.
Sure. Let's talk about it.
All right. Well, so I found a really interesting article, and I guess I should start by saying the reason why I find depression interesting is because, well, I've suffered from depression multiple times in my life.
Mm.
Especially around Eric's death, the anniversary. In fact, his passing was October 21st, so that those days around October 21st are pretty hard. His birthday is Halloween. He turned 21 on Halloween. So those days always generate a little bit of sadness for me. I will admit that less sadness today. Well, thanks. It kind of sucks. But early on, I can say it was very much a kick in the guts. And so I ran across this article she's a nurse, the lady that put this together. She's a nurse, and she has experience in pediatrics, oncology, and public health. And so I would say that depression definitely falls under basically public health. Because, we all get a touch of the blues.
But there's a difference, right, between the blues. Like, I wake up today and I just feel like I'd really just rather stay in bed than go to work. Right? If I do that every day,
yes,
that might be a problem. But if I just do it today because I'm just like, I'm tired, that's not quite the same as depression, is what you're saying.
Yes. And I mean, you've got, you can have a little depression. Oh, I'm sad about, maybe a pet passing away.
Sure.
Or I'm sad that my best friend from work has found a job and moving away, or they're retiring, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as we said at the beginning, the idea of seasonal depression. When I lived in State College, there were, or was it there at Penn State, for people that don't realize that they're one and the same. Like I said, when we would get the clouds rolling in, it was hard to, I didn't realize that I would get so blue and my patience would be down and my tolerance of other people was down until the sun came out and suddenly, hey, I'm in a good mood and so is everybody else.
Right.
And so, I would totally say that, yes, seasonal depression is an issue.
Okay.
But I think that today more people suffer from a real form of depression. It may not be severe depression or major depressive disorder as identified in the DSM-5-TR, but a lot of times we would you can argue or identify depression as, feelings of extreme sadness. If I can talk, ideas of extreme sadness,
right?
Senses of hopelessness. And these are things that might go on for more than a couple of weeks. Like you said, if you have it a day or two, okay, that's one thing. But when it is something that persists for a while, now we're pushing, this is real depression.
Right.
And I mean, because it can truly inhibit your ability to function. And I mean, you can also have, various physical symptoms, and because that lethargy makes it hard. Your muscles can get stiff. And like I say, you're just not moving. And
right.
So anyway, it's all these can lower your, frankly, it can make a horrible, how shall we say? Okay. Back this up. I guess I should have started this train before it left the station, but it can basically have a negative impact on your quality of life, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
And
I know that seasonal depression did that for me.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I just didn't want to do things. I struggled through problems in life that were seemingly easy on other days. Or other times or other seasons, in the summer, not a big deal. In the winter, it's a drudgery and just tough, so.
And I think that, like I say, I think everybody suffers from time to time a little bout of depression, a little bit of sadness, a little bit of melancholy. But those that go more severe has been on the rise. And in a lot of my coursework, we've talked about, issues of depression, dealings with depression. My internships this summer, working with teenagers, most of them were there with depressive disorder. And in fact, the research done by this nurse lady that put together this article, she cited some research that says 1 in 6 Americans suffer from depression. And serious depression.
Right. Now, that's a lot. I mean, that means at least 1 or 2 people a day listening to us are suffering from depression.
And a lot of it is undiagnosed. And because you're thinking, I'll just fight through it. Oh, I'm just feeling a little blue. It'll pass. Well, maybe it will, but maybe it won't. Maybe it's a little more severe. In fact, one of the things that was brought up, and I've read this multiple places, is depression genetic? Can you inherit being depressed?
That's interesting.
And research shows that if you have a parent who was depressed, you are 2 to 3 times more likely to suffer depression, major depressive disorder yourself. At least at some point in your life, you would be diagnosed as being severely depressed.
Okay.
And so I thought that was kind of interesting because now we're talking about brain chemistry as going into all of this. And so I thought it was kind of interesting. I don't know that it's entirely tied to genetics. I think it, like so many things, our genetics can put us in a position to be more receptive or less receptive to various issues.
Sure. I also wonder about environment. Like if I happen to grow up in a household where parents are depressed, do I kind of take that on just because that's what I see?
Exactly. And that's kind of what the research has also indicated, that just because the genes by themselves do not strongly suggest or indicate that you would have depression.
Right.
But if you are, yes, I think environment plays, and some of the research has suggested that very much does play a role in passing it on.
Sure. I mean, I think about, just when you're around a positive person, it tends to be contagious. You tend to start to, if you're around them enough, you tend to start being positive. And I think the same would work the other direction. Well, if you're around a negative person, it makes you feel kind of icky.
Yeah.
Right. And it gets you down. And so I would imagine that environment or who you're around definitely would affect that. And for kids, it's not like they have a choice. If you're in a job where you're around negative people and depressed people all the time and they're not getting help and you don't want to be there anymore, you can get another job. A kid can't, you got a 6 or 7 year old kid or even a teenager. I mean, you can't just choose another house. Right?
No, not really.
So you're stuck in the environment you're in. And so then that's up to the adult in the room to take care of that issue. And that's hard.
Oh, very much so. But and a reason why I wanted to talk about this today is I thought that, well, maybe if you might be more aware of triggers or risks or, situations that can contribute to a person falling into deep depression. If you are, I'm a firm believer that the more you're aware, the more you can potentially prevent.
Sure.
And so I thought, well, maybe we could explore some of the triggers that can put a person more likely to fall victim to the debilitating issues that depression can provide.
So what are they?
Well, one, being a teenager. They're talking about...
Is that like an affliction? I mean...
No.
Okay.
But when you are going through your teen years, your preteen, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Sure.
You're trying to find out, who you are, what you stand for, where's your... Where do you fit into your circle of family and friends? Where's your place in the world? And as you struggle with trying to figure that out, it can potentially put you at risk to fall into deep depression.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've talked about the influence that cell phones have, that social media has on that. And because so many of our adolescent youth today are glued to their phone, if the students that I have are any indication, then it makes it kind of hard. I mean, I can remember growing up, you'd have all the commercials and all the guys were always handsome. They were fit. They were,
right.
They were the go-to. The girls, same way. They were the cute. They were the thin. They were the sexy. And so I think that can send a false image as to what people are supposed to look like, be like, act like.
Right.
And so, again, young people are susceptible to being persuaded to live a life that is not real. And therefore, I don't look like that. I don't act like that. I don't have that kind of physical skill set or athletic ability. And so they can fall into depression.
I think that one of the things about that is that, we were saying that teenagers particularly are trapped at home, right? Like they can't, they're in that environment. So if that environment is negative in some way, or the parents are being negative towards the kids or about each other or whatever, their escape oftentimes is to go to social media, which is maybe even equally as bad or worse. And it's reinforcing the negativity that they're already receiving, and that's not helping them.
And that, So I think if you're a young person, keep that in mind. If you have young people in your life, take stock of them, take a measure, see how they do or how they're doing. I guess you might call that a temperature check. And see how they're doing and try and help them, from falling too far down the depression rabbit hole.
Sure.
All right. So here's another thing. Again, research shows that your gender plays a factor. Women are twice as likely as men to suffer from depression.
Wow.
And a lot of that has to do with your body chemistry, your hormone levels, your estrogen, all of that.
Okay.
And so, as you know, your female cycle, all of that can play a factor in giving you more chances to be depressed than guys. So, not being a woman, I cannot say for a fact. Or,
yeah, I mean, we're definitely not experts on that. So,
so I'm going to take their.
We could have brought my wife in for that one, maybe, but or your wife. I mean,
we could have.
She'd like to join the podcast.
Yeah, she's always said no.
But
so again, I'm going to go with that. I
think the facts there speak for themselves on that one.
Okay. Next one. And I have some personal experience with this, and that is childbirth. Not that I gave birth.
Oh, I was going to say. Are you getting rich?
Well, no.
What's happening here?
Just call me Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I mean, wow.
No, when Eric was born, his mother went through postpartum depression.
Yeah, I think this is pretty common. I mean, the research that we're looking at suggests it's 1 in 8 people, but
yeah,
I wonder if it's even higher than that. I mean, I've known several women who've experienced this, and it seems like it's. I mean, I know way more than 8 women, but it seems like a larger percentage of them have had this, and so I wonder if that's even correct.
I don't know. I'm not going to argue with their research, but I do know, like I say, when Eric was born, his mom went into a serious bout of depression that I would argue she never recovered from.
Yeah.
And I think it was a huge contributing factor to her mental and physical decline. But again, and I think you're right. I think that this is common. I think that, and it makes me wonder, I'm just speculating here, that maybe that 1 in 8 is the more severe.
Maybe.
Where they fall into that trap and they can't get out.
I just think it's quite likely that, you know, if somebody has recently had a child, has given birth, and they're feeling depression, I mean, there's a good chance that it's this. And it's not something that, you know, especially if you didn't have it before.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now you have it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Did your wife experience any of that with?
Yeah, to some extent. Yeah.
Okay. So that's why I say it makes me wonder if this is a common reaction, and where it becomes uncommon is when you can't shake it off. You can't get out of it.
Right.
Because I know that sometimes that can have a huge impact when the mom cannot come out of this. It can negatively influence their ability to be a parent.
Well, we could get some of the ladies out there to comment on YouTube on the
yes, please.
Podcast there.
Yes, please. Maybe we're just outside our minds.
So what's another one?
Okay, so this one is, and again, I've got sadly a lot of experience with this, but this is chronic bad health.
Wow.
People that have, my dad, the last probably 5 years of his life were not real well. His mobility, his memory, because he had dementia really bad, and it just kept getting worse, obviously. And he was very depressed. The things that he used to be able to do, he could no longer do, confined to basically a wheelchair. And I won't share some of the anecdotes and things that he would say, but his quality of life was horrible, and he was very saddened by the fact, depressed, that I remember that I used to be able to do these things. I remember that I could have a conversation, that I remember loving talking about all kinds of sports and politics. And so I think that with age, especially, I've seen that with my mother-in-law as she's gotten older. And so they say that the elderly, as well as those that have, serious physical or mental issues. Like I said, my dad with dementia, my mother-in-law being very confined. She's a little mobile, maybe like 15%. But so they were saying that, but they're also saying, if you've got some kind of chronic illness, maybe like lupus, something like that can create all kinds of depression because you're chronically ill.
Yeah. I don't like being ill.
No.
And if it was all the time, I would probably be pretty depressed.
Well, and this is, again, I go back to Eric's mother. She was diagnosed. It took many years to figure this out, but she had what was identified or diagnosed as pseudotumor cerebri.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have this. But there's a valve in the back of our spine where our spine and our head kind of come together.
Right.
And because we have our spinal fluid is that liquid that goes around and cushions our brain from our skull.
Right.
Well, with her, that valve would let the fluid in, but not let the fluid out. And so it was kind of a stuck valve. And so she would get
pressure.
Yeah. And it would be horrible. And she would have migraines that would knock her out for 1, 2, sometimes 3 weeks at a time.
Right.
And so that chronic illness, I think, contributed greatly to her depressed state.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
I can see that.
Yeah. And it kind of makes sense or fits, with the idea that people that have chronic health conditions.
People that I know that have been through cancer and survived it and rung the bell for their last treatment and, have become cancer free. I mean, wow. Because if I had to go through that, and I hope I never do, right? I mean, I hope nobody has to, but to have to go through those kinds of treatments and go to those things and hear the outlook for how long you might have or what kind of quality of life you might have for how long or whatever. I mean, all that's very depressing. And it's understandable when somebody gets depressed and kind of gives up. But so for those people who push through it, I mean, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, if you can overcome that, that's amazing, because just that alone would seem to me to probably drive me into depression.
And you're absolutely right. So like I say, our physical health can play a big thing, but there's also other external issues that can pop up that can contribute either short-term or create long-term problems.
So my coworkers?
Well, yeah.
Or other external things?
Well, it could be both. Getting fired from your job can, send you down a rabbit hole. These next three I have experienced personally. I got fired from a job, divorce, and death of a loved one. I had all three of those, and I can tell you it sent me spiraling into serious bouts of depression. And it took a whole lot of work and a lot of help from a large number of people to pull me out. I mean, by themselves, the death of a loved one can send you spiraling. Divorce, or like I say, getting, loss of a job, even laid off can make you feel really horrible. But you also then can have, being part of a mass shooting. Those seem to be happening all too often. You could have natural disasters. The hurricanes that hit Florida and the Carolinas here back in September, early October. Yeah. Hurricane Helene and the one that followed right on its heels. I forget what it was called. But again, major natural disasters can spin people into depression. How am I going to get out of this?
Right.
Even some things. One of the things they talked about, and this is something that's been all over the news, living through a pandemic. I mean,
we all did that.
Yeah. But
unless you're like 2 years old, right? Or 3 years old.
Yeah, and don't remember COVID.
So, Yeah, I mean that was definitely tough, and I think a lot of people, went into depression over that. I mean, I changed a lot of things in my life based on that. I moved several states away, switched jobs, I mean, all kinds of stuff. So, and had the pandemic not happened, I would not have done that.
So again, right? But that was a positive change. But if you hadn't, where would you be?
It was, but it was based on a reflection of this is where I'm at, and I don't like it.
Okay,
right. But I never didn't like it until I was stuck in that situation.
Okay. Right. Well, that's why I say there's a lot of things that can happen to us that can send us spiraling. But here's the thing: you don't have to stay there.
Exactly.
And I guess I want to end with a little bit of hope because I think we're pushing close
positivity.
To our yes. Because I will say again, from my own personal experience, what kept me from staying in a dark place was having friends.
Yeah.
And when I say having friends, these were people that deliberately came and checked on me.
Yeah.
And made sure that, hey, how you doing? Hey, let's go to, let's go watch a game. Let's go down to Buffalo Wild Wings and eat some wings, drink a beer, and let's just enjoy being out of the house. And or other things, stuff like that, And I thoroughly appreciated that. I will say one of the things too was getting a new job.
Yeah.
I will say that getting a job, getting back into teaching and working in the school district that you and I now both work in played a huge factor.
Yeah.
Because and all these different things, that was something that was external. The other thing is that I had a therapist.
So important.
I don't know that I would be here without her help as well. I mean, I have always given credit to Sherry for being there through thick and through thin. And I'm kind of glad she decided to marry me because I would have been lost without her too.
Yeah.
So the love of a good spouse can be very, very beneficial. But I would say too, my therapist.
And I got to say, I'm so excited that, when people would say that they were in therapy years ago, that was something you just generally kept quiet.
Yeah.
You didn't want people to think you was crazy or something.
You're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
But these days it's pretty widespread. Like most people are or have, been in some kind of therapy or have seen a counselor. And I like that there are counselors now that don't cost, a fortune necessarily to go see. You don't have to go to a psychiatrist, right? Because you don't necessarily need medication or whatever. So you can start out at that low level of a counselor who can and sometimes that can be online.
Yeah.
Right. Where you can meet with them that way. So it's really easy. Like the accessibility has gotten so much better. And so, people should take that opportunity that's available to at least try that process.
It is easy to fall into the depression trap. It takes work and effort to get out of the depression trap. But life is so much worth joy.
Yeah.
And living in the sunshine is more preferable than living under a dark cloud. And
which is why I don't live in New Hampshire anymore.
Yeah, that's why I enjoyed my time in Pennsylvania, but I will only go back to visit. I like my sunshine and I like being happy. I love laughing, and I am discovering that there is so much more to life.
Right.
And so as we deal with depression, the best part is you don't have to stay there. There are support networks that can help you. And I'm with you, not because I have become a therapist, but because I know the value that they can provide from my own personal experience.
Yeah.
So, But anyway, depression, it's there. It's real. It happens.
But it's tough, but you got to make a change, right? For it to change at all.
Yeah.
And I think that this is where a lot of people just, they can't make that change on their own. And so, if you know somebody who's depressed, you got to help them. You got to encourage them. You got to do something to help them get to that place where they can get some professional help. You can't be their therapist.
No, but you can also provide a little bit of support.
Right, but you got to help them get to that more professional help.
That is correct. Absolutely. It's we need our friends, we need our family to be around to make our life more enjoyable. And so together we stand.
Excellent.
So anyway, that's my spiel on depression. And like I say, it's there, it's common, but it doesn't have to be debilitating.
Excellent.
So,
all right.
Well, I don't know where I am on time, but I feel like we're right good. Near the buzzer. So, for all those times that we went over, then maybe we'll be a short one this week. So, anyway, that's all I got.
Awesome. Well, that's it.
Okay. Well, then until next time, I'm Rod.
And I'm Scott.
See ya.
Bye-bye.